and we're both head injury survivors. Okay, here we go. Welcome to InTheGranite. I have a special guest, my father, who's a brain injury survivor. He fell 37, 38 feet on a construction job, banged his head off I-beams, finally landed, was in a coma for 2 months. I fell in 2003. I think he fell in the early 80s. I fell in 2003, 14 feet, bringing my German Shepherds up the back there, grabbed the rail in the cave. I fell 14 feet, fractured my skull, woke up 2 days later out of a coma. So I'm going to let my father talk about brain injury survivors, and we're going to be doing this once a week. Dad, take over, Dad, and tell them your name, whatever you want to say. I just want you to talk about how we're going to help brain injury survivors.
Hi, my name is Bob. I'm a brain injury survivor. I fell 32 feet and landed on my head in 1982, March 10th. Since then, because I had such a hard time finding anybody that knew anything at all about brain injury to help me, I basically had to do everything myself. And my goal in life today is to help other people with brain injury. There is no reason why you can't do anything you want, even after a head injury. I'm living proof that you can do it. They told me to go home and sit on the couch like a lump and watch TV for the rest of my life. And I wouldn't do it. I refused to be a lump. And life is good. No matter what your politics are, what your negativity or positivity in life is, you should have a life. So I'm here to tell you that no matter how bad it is, if it don't kill you, it just makes you stronger.
That's right.
I'll be answering questions anytime somebody needs a question asked so grass don't grow under their feet and they can move forward in life, which you need to do. This was on...
Yes, you do.
I'm new at this. I'm new at this. I've done DVDs for Brain Injury Survivors, and I've talked in front of 1 million of them. But I haven't talked to my face in a screen yet, so it's something that I'll have to get used to.
That's more important, Dad, and you will get used to it. It's kind of nerve-wracking for anybody.
It's more important for a brain injury survivor to be connected, to be around other people that are just like him, to bounce ideas off and bounce problems off that they're having themselves, because all brain injury survivors basically have the same problems trying to move forward. And they're the only ones that can answer your questions for you. As long as you're moving forward, you're making progress, everything slows down. It's not going to come as fast as it did before, and that'll be a problem for a lot of people for a while. But once you're into it and you see that you can actually get things done and accomplish things, so what? You get from A to G any way you have to.
Yep. You're doing good, Dad. That's fine. You can just keep talking.
I feel like this is my passion in life. I was left on this earth for some reason to help people with brain injury. So that's what I intend on doing for the rest of my life. And
You helped me a lot with mine.
well, like I said, you need to get help from other people with brain injury. They're the only ones that understand,
Yeah, no one else
and
understands it. You're right. You're
and
right.
that's one of the most frustrating things about being a brain injury survivor is you can't bounce things off somebody like you did
Oh,
before because
mhm.
nobody understands you, and if they love you they're going to tell you that they understand, and they forget you're talking to them, you're looking them in the eye, and they don't understand. So uh, ask me, look me in the eye.
Yeah,
When I tell you something,
that's right.
you'll know it comes from the heart and the head and
From the
experience,
heart.
and you'll know that you can live your life by what I say.
I have a DVD of my father talking to huge crowds about brain injuries with doctors, everything. I'm going to edit that and put it together for him. We're going to go full time now that he knows how to do this. He's going to help a lot of people more than I can help because he has more knowledge about brain injuries than I do. A lot more. Like I've never taken my brain injury serious. He does. So I train harder than 20-year-olds every day. He's 71 years old, and he trains harder than 30 and 40-year-olds. He looks like he's 40, for Christ's sakes. So I'm just telling you, you fell in the 80s, Dad, right? He when he
82.
was when he came back here in 82, when he came back here, and some of my friends seen him, they said he's 70 years old. He looks like he's 40. So I'm just saying, my father works out on a regular basis, unless he's having, medication problems or anything like that. He don't take pain meds or anything like that. I just came off 15 years of pain meds, but my father can explain brain injuries better than most doctors I've had, neurologists. He's a very smart in this field, and I have no problem bringing my father on once a week so he can help other brain survivors, brain trauma survivors, because there ain't no too many people that I know that can talk like him to people and actually have empathy and understand exactly what they're going through because no one can explain what a head injury is unless they've had a head injury. No, no one can explain addiction unless they've been through addiction. No one can explain anything unless they've been through it. So he has been through it, and he's been through it 82, 92. All right, so 92, 2002, 21 years. I had my fall after his. So he experienced all this stuff and studied brain injuries and how much lack of knowledge there is about out there. And that's not all doctors' faults because the brain is a very unique organism. And not only that, for every thousand things they know, there's a million things they don't know. But my father knows a lot more than most neurologists know. So I'm just going to tell you straight out, I'm brutally honest. I have nothing to gain by lying. I do not lie. My father's the most smartest guy I know about brain injuries that I've ever talked to, other than my first neurologist, the guy who did the the operating doctor that did my operation on my brain injury, and the neurologist I had after him before he went to Florida. Or, those two guys and my father, only three guys I know that know about brain injuries. He knows more about brain injuries than most neurologists. That's saying something. That's saying a lot, actually. And he always has time for people. See, he's old time trauma survivor, person that you get in touch with all the time. I'd be a guy that you can't get in touch with maybe once a week. So that's why I'm doing this with him. And then eventually he'll go on his own and he'll be doing it full time. We'll do it 2, 3 times a week, me and him weekly, starting this week or next week. This is just a pilot to what we're going to be doing. Dad, I'd like you to add some more words of encouragement to brain injury survivors, that there is no bias.
Well, the one thing when you make your mind up,
it doesn't matter what couple bias.
Yeah, no, when you make your mind up, you want to get better, and you develop a never give up mentality. All the things that have changed about you, they haven't changed for the worse, they've changed for the better. All the doctors in America, I think you use 4 to 6% of your brain in your lifetime. The rocket scientists will tell you you use a third. Okay, let's let them have their way. You use a third.
Yep.
So all the things that you feel that you can't do, the essence of who you are that you remember, with the other 2/3, you can be better than you were before. It's there, it's not being used, and that's why you got it. So, there's a lot of simple and easy and factual ways to look at a brain injury without developing a defeatist attitude. I just refuse to give up. So you got to connect with other people with brain injury. You got to be able to get your problems solved so grass doesn't grow under your feet. You got to move forward all the time.
When you say it's a mindset, right? It's a mindset, right?
Well, yeah, you have to have a strong mind. You have to get fed up.
Yep.
You have to get fed up, because if God or the entity that made you wanted to take you from this earth, you'd be gone. So if he didn't think you could handle it, if he didn't think you could handle it, you wouldn't be here. And you're smart enough to find your way around all the obstacles that are in your way now. If you got 2/3 of your brain that you didn't use before and you like yourself, then be better than you were before. I told some psychological students at Duquesne University, when I got to the point where I moved 1/8 of a inch forward consistently every day, I was euphoric. And they all looked at me like I come from the planet Mars. And I told them, I said, hey, we were just like you before our head injury. We wanted everything right now. But we're going to have it right now. It's just going to take us a while now to get there. But if I don't give up, I'm going to get there. I'm going to see the end from the beginning.
Yep.
And that's really all I got in my prelude to Brain Injury podcast. That covers everything that you need to know about me, and you should be able to know by the way I'm talking to you that you can bounce anything off me and we can get you moving forward again. Obstacles are just obstacles when you don't have anybody around you that can help you. Once you get that help, there'll be nothing that can stop you. I have people every day that look at me that remember me from 40 years ago. March 10th will be 40 years. That a friend of mine tells them that's Tony Bob there. And they say, nah, because they never thought I would look the way I do now. I didn't look this way when I fell. But I work out, I get methodical about things, and it wasn't easy. It took me years to do things that before I had my head injury, were second nature to me. But yeah, it's a strain on the brain. You got a lot of lows and a lot of highs that people don't
Nice.
want to, and they handicap you. They hold you back
That's
from
right.
getting where you want to go. But if you don't give up,
That's right.
those obstacles all
That's right.
become in the past. That's what they were and are.
I
And
agree.
I'm here. I'm looking forward to this. I wanted to do this since my son talked to me about doing it in January, and I believe
Me
that
think it.
I can continue helping people like I have for the last 20 of the 40 years. I couldn't process
Yeah.
information for 20 years fast enough to keep up in a conversation. Everybody else, like me, when we started out, give up after 4 or 5 years. Doctors, lawyers, I'm a freak of nature. I don't give up and I don't let myself
No.
down for nothing. It can be done. When you hear my story, I don't care how bad you think you have it, you'll know that if you want to look like me, I look just like anybody else. I work out 2.5 hours every time. Well, between a 1.5 and 2.5 hours. I'm soaking wet after 20 minutes. I work out
That's
in
what
a
I do. That's pretty impressive.
thermal field that's soaking wet. I got to wring it out when I'm done, and water pours off of it. But there was times that I doubted that I could do that. But if you don't give up and you surround yourself, all brain injury survivors should surround themselves with other brain injuries that know what you're going
Right.
through. Uh, that'll
That's right.
keep you up. That'll keep you high on yourself. That'll keep you with the confidence to know that you can do anything you set your mind to do.
And they
I'm
have
looking
a
forward.
brotherhood. They have a brotherhood of survivors too, who they can bounce
Well,
ideas off of,
well,
which
what
is a good
people
thing.
don't understand is if you go to a brain injury support meeting, you don't have to say it, and all you have to do is listen.
No,
But
no,
the more you listen, the comfortable you'll get, and you'll have to tell them how you got your brain injury. But you'll connect with somebody there. You'll find somebody that you would connect with, just like in regular life. Make a friend out of it. That you can call each other anytime you need support. And when you start having support anytime you need it, that's when things really start taking off for you. That's when you
yeah,
can
you go
really
up.
build up the
You go up.
confidence. Uh, man, I look at everything in a positive. I got lows that are so low that nobody ever wants to get that low, but I don't even look at them
No,
like lows. I haven't for 30 years. I look in a very
right.
positive way at everything. I only thing I
You're
think
very
of
good.
when I'm really down is the only place I can look is up. And that's where
That's
I'm
right.
going. Okay. And
That's
that's
right.
why I don't stay there long. And if you don't stay low, low or high, high, and you get in the middle where it would be real chaotic for the regular person, but it's your normal, you function good in that normal. Okay. You move forward and you can make
That's awesome.
yourself a better person.
Absolutely.
Okay. That is my prelude to brain
Dad, let
injury
me
support system.
did a good job. Dad, let me
All
ask you
right.
something.
Well,
Do you think we should do this daily, 5 days a week? Daily,
no,
Dad, do
I
you think we
think,
should do this daily, 5 days a
no,
week?
no, I think eventually we're going to do it 7 days a week.
We can,
To be
yeah,
able to, I want people to be
yep,
able to get connected anytime they need
yep,
it, anywhere in the country.
yep,
But
yep.
I can't go at
Anywhere in the
this.
world.
Yeah, I can't
in the
go at
world,
this
all over
half-assed.
the world.
While I'm
You're not.
learning,
You're not doing nothing
I
half-assed.
can't
You have the
have
knowledge.
people ask me questions because of my lack of knowledge of the computer that I get stuck on. So let
I
me
can help.
navigate
Yeah.
this for a
Yeah.
little bit and feel
Everyone
comfortable I
understands that.
can where I
They all.
can
They
do
all
what I
understand
set
that.
out to do.
They're
And
all. They all understand. They'll all
we'll
understand.
set the world on fire. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going
Well,
to
helping
sign
people
off.
and giving back is awesome. Okay, Dad.
All
Did a
right,
great
son.
job. Did a great
Hey,
job.
there's not too many
Really good
people in
job.
this. There's not too many people, father and sons, in this world that could survive two serious head injuries like we did and look and think and respond to life like we do. So that's an
Absolutely.
inspiration by itself for everybody.
Very rare. Very
All right,
rare.
son, I'm signing off.
Okay, Dad. I'll call you in a couple minutes.
Okay.
I'm gonna take you off right now. Hold on. Let me get rid of you. Yep. I got you. All right. That was my father. Good man. Really, just he did his best. You know what I mean? Uh, I saw a couple people jump in. We'll get this. We'll keep this going, and eventually we'll do this 7 days a week. We can do Zoom calls, all kinds of stuff, and uh, you know, there's a lot of different ways we could do this. You know what I mean? But it's gonna be fun. You know what I mean? It really is. It's gonna be fun. And I'm really happy he could do this little. I don't know. You could call it just like the first episode of the Sopranos, or a pilot to Brain Injury Survivor Network. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm building a network, not just my podcast, not just motivational videos on YouTube that I've done for over a year and a half, motivating people, trying to motivate people uh, through the pandemic and all that stuff. So, my work ethic is impeccable. He will be able to talk to people all times a day. Anyone that's having a problem, they could call him, and I'll always be there to help too. You know what I mean? So I'm glad my father finally got to do what he wanted to do. He finally got on here. He got someone to help him with his computer that he bought. Was supposed to be made a computer that's supposed to be made to help people that don't know the computer that great, which I didn't know. I knew how to type because of typewriters. You know, I could type really well. And I understood computers because I went to ITT Tech. The scammers, I guess they're a scam. But I went there for almost 6 months. So I learned a lot there too. And I learned from my technology friends, my producer in music, my two worldwide albums we did together, all of us, the whole crew. But my producer taught me a lot. I learned a lot from one of my left-hand man, Wise's son. He taught me a little bit about. So I learned all by myself just from YouTube videos and stuff. I learned a lot. You could dive into YouTube rabbit holes and find out everything. I try to tell my father this, but I'm happy he's learning the computer. I wish my mother and my stepfather, that my stepfather's deported to Italy. Those charges have been dropped for 5, 6 years now. They're on their way back soon, I guess. We'll see what happens. I hope so. I love them. I miss them too. I can't wait to get my whole family together up in northern friggin' New Hampshire somewhere, or somewhere in the next 2 years after my son graduates and goes to the NBA draft. We'll all be up in northern New England looking at mountains. I'll be growing strains of epic friggin' weed, cannabis, and strains, and strains of my heroes from Boston sports and music, all kinds of, not just Boston music, Northeast music and West Coast music and music across the world. This is a worldwide thing, people. It's not, like I said, we're not biased. I'm not biased. And I wouldn't bring my father on. You got to remember, people, I met my father when I was 32 years old. First time I ever met him. I talked to him twice in my childhood. That was it. You know what I mean? So, I forgave my father because I'm a grown man, and it just so happens that we both had the same injury. So, you know, I think everything in life is preordained. Anyways, I think everything's meant to happen. I think we're all one. It's one love. We're all connected somehow. You ever have that situations where you're thinking of a friend, you're thinking, man, I should call him, make sure he's all right. Then all of a sudden you get a call from him within the 24 hours or even less. It could be later. But I always know it's within 24, 48 hour span or that week. Within a week, the latest. It's never been later than a week. But I think of friends that I haven't talked to in a month plus, and all of a sudden they'll call me or we'll get connected somehow. So we're all connected somehow. All right. Bottom line, I know that for a fact. I've been there, done that, and some, and it's just the way it is. You know what I mean? It's not being conceited, it's being convinced. If you don't have confidence in yourself, how the hell are you going to help people? So if you can't help yourself first, how the hell are you going to help people? You know what I mean? So, bottom line is help people out there. Don't think you can't help people. If you've survived as much as I survived in my life, there's a reason for it. And yes, I believe in God. I wasn't preach God in my life when I was a kid. None of that. I was a Protestant with a single mother, welfare, all that stuff, right? And then, I always knew God was there because, my aunt, my mother's oldest sister, my oldest aunt on my mother's side, who's like a mother to me. God bless her soul. She died almost over 15 years ago, somewhere around there. I remember the day it happened. I cried that whole day. It really bothered me. She's like a mother to me. We moved to Boston, Quincy, South Quincy, and then I moved to West Quincy 10 years later. But that's who brought us to Quincy was my aunt Becky, because she lived there, was married here, and I'm glad she did. I'm glad I was raised here. I tell my father this. I'm glad I was raised here and not in Pittsburgh. No offense to Pittsburgh. I like Steel City a lot. I do. I love Steel City, actually. It's where I'm from, McKeesport, Pittsburgh. It's like Quincy, Boston. Boston City connected to Quincy. Actually, they should be the same city in all reality. But I guess back in the horse and buggy days, you know, it was hard to get 7, 8 miles to downtown Boston. Right in the middle of downtown Boston, there's 8 miles from here. It's not that far. The John Quincy Adams houses are right down the street here. It's like a 7, 8 minute walk. You know what I mean? If the train tracks weren't right there in the highway, it would be freaking a 3 minute walk or a 2 minute walk. So it's that close. That's where he was the president of the United States. There wasn't a White House back then. You know what I mean? John Quincy Adams. A lot of history up here in Boston and the Northeast people. All right, people, I'm signing off. This was for head trauma survivors with my father, who's a head trauma survivor. He fell 32 feet on a construction job, banged his head off I-beams on his way down, landed on his head, fractured his skull, woke up 2 months later out of a coma. I fell 14 feet, bringing my German Shepherds up the back stairs. My female bumped me in the leg. I grabbed, because they were 150-pound dogs, I grabbed them, grabbed the railing, and it gave on me, and I fell over both of them. So I kind of flipped and landed 14 feet right on my head, 12 in between 12 and 14 feet, right on my head. My whole spine crunched together. You know, there wasn't no scar on my head, but my ears were bleeding. The neighbor jumped over the fences. I guess she seen it happen or heard it happen, but she seen me going up the stairs and she heard the crack. She said there was no way someone could have hit you with a bat or done a Jack Ruby on you because the dogs were right there. You know what I mean? They would have been friggin' barking and going crazy. You know what I mean? Those dogs, if someone walked, on the sidewalk in front of the house going by, they would fucking, their ears would go up and they go, "Rrr." So no one was coming into my yard unless they knew them. You know what I mean? But even if they knew them, they would have barked. So I know it wasn't that. I would have heard someone walking up back behind me 10 feet, 12 feet up. I would have heard it. You know what I mean? There's no way. So, I know for a fact. I remember grabbing the railing, it giving. I don't remember falling in midair. I remember going over my dogs, and then it's a blackout. And 2 days later, I woke up, and I was very lucky to wake up. My wife didn't have to wipe my ass for me. I pulled tubes out of my mouth. I wanted to go downstairs in the friggin' wheelchair because they wouldn't let me walk. Wheelchair, not that I couldn't walk. They just didn't want me walking because blood rushes to your head anytime you're doing any physical activity. So I just wanted to wheel myself down. I was wheeling myself down 15, 16, 18 times a day and night. I couldn't even sleep. So I'll be out there 3, 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. I see people shooting at each other, running down the street, shooting. It would be like a movie. No bullshit. People shooting at each other. Right in the middle of right down there, Orchard Park Projects. That's what Boston Medical Center is. Anyone knows the area, they know what I'm talking about. BMC, they saved my life. I want to give a shout out to Anthony Jabrai. Anthony Jabrai. He was the operating surgeon on my head in 2003, April of 2003. As you can see, the scar. It's a horseshoe. They had to cut my head open, my skull open, speeding in my brain. They told my wife 50-50 chance I'd make it, that I'd make it through the surgery, because they didn't know if they could stop the bleeding if it was too late. You know what I mean? Or if I would have been brain dead, like I said, or she would have had to wipe my ass for the rest of my life. And I would have never let my wife do that. I would have went boom with the 45, even though I don't believe in suicide. I wouldn't let my wife have to go through that the rest of her life. I would have let her moved on with her life, because I love my wife that much, and I don't think any wife should have to go through that with their husband. Take care of a fucking paraplegic or whatever. Fuck that. I can't live like that. You know what I mean? But if you are a paraplegic, don't give up. Don't listen to me. I'm a freaking savage. You know what I mean? I'm a fearless person. So don't listen to me about that. I don't think I would have blew my brains out anyways. I really don't. That's the first thought that comes to my head, because I love my wife so much. Or maybe I wouldn't have blew my brains out. I would have OD'd on my friggin' pain meds or something like that. You know what I mean? So it wasn't a suicide, because suicide, I'm going to tell you people something. Suicide is the easy way out. And you do not go to heaven or hell. You go to purgatory, where you're a lost soul, more lost than you are here, because you want to kill yourself. Wanting to die is a reason to live. There is no giving up in life, all right? Tough times don't last. Up there, that's the T-shirt hanging up above the Shamrock, the Boston Celtics, right there. See it right there up in the corner? That's Marvin Hagler up above the Metallica Whiplash off the Kill 'Em All album. Whiplash is a song off the Kill 'Em All album, their first album. That's an EP, their first EP ever. It's got Whiplash, Seek and Destroy, Am I Evil, tracks on that EP. That's an album. I don't know if you people know about albums. And there's another album up there, I Am made in Japan. That's an EP. One of my favorite ones from the old school, and there's Marvin Hagler up there. I mean, there's over here is Muhammad Ali up top. One of my idols, just like Marvin Hagler was my favorite fighter when I was 9 years old. He just inspired me. I seen him on Worldwide Sports, or Worldwide of Sports. I forget what it was called. This is when I was like 9 years old, way before cable. This is in the 70s, 71, so it was probably 1980. I might have seen him on the first ESPN. I used to see him running with combat boots on and saying, "Who's the champ? I'm the champ. I'm the champ." Whoa. And then I see him running in snow saying, "Whoa, whoa." And I see him running on the beach, on a nice sunny day. Whoa. And everyone on the beach is looking at him like they believe him. I think Hearns believed him. I think Thomas Hitman Hearns, who I respect a lot, would say the same thing. So it's dedication and never giving up and discipline and sacrifice like Marvin Hagler did. And then Mike Tyson and all my inspirations in fighting. You know, Duran, Thomas Hitman Hearns, the only one to knock Duran out. He was murking people, Hearns. But Duran won the belt of 4 different freaking weight classes. He's a savage. He's in my top 10 fighters, maybe even my top 5. I'd say top 10. But yeah, never give up out there, people with head injuries. We're gonna try to help a lot of people out there. This is my mission. This is my father's mission, more so his. But I really like to help and give back anyways, so it's not a big deal to me either. I want to do it too. I never went to head injury stuff like he did. It took him 20 years before he went. It's 2003 for me, so it's been 18, 22, yeah, so 17, 19 years for me coming up. So, we'll see what happens. I don't think I'll ever go to those unless I'm going to go and talk to thousands of head injury survivors. Then I would do it. I'm going to try to set this up for me and my father, do a whole Zoom meeting of head injury survivors, and me and my father will pick people out who want to ask questions or anything like that. But I'm going to set it up where you guys could talk to my father 24/7, and he can answer the questions about this. Now, listen, I just got to know my father back in 2002. Was the first time I got to know him, met him for the first time. He almost met a left hook. I swear to God, like I told him this, I wanted to hit you with a left hook. I wanted you to meet my left hook the first time you met me. But my uncle was there, who I love. I remember seeing him once a year when I used to go back to Pittsburgh once a year as a kid until I was around 11, 12, 13 years old. Then I never went back again. And then my grandparents came to my wedding. A couple aunts of mine came to my wedding. My cousin, my grandfather, who are all gone, passed away. My grandmother and my grandfather a couple years ago. And both of them 3 and 2 years ago. And they're very dearly missed. But they came. And I knew I always loved my grandmother on my father's side and my pap and my aunts and uncles. I love my aunts and uncles on my mother's side. I don't love my grandparents on my mother's side. That's a whole different story. But there's reasons for that. And for cousins of mine and for people in my family that are my blood, that didn't grow up here in Boston, that all were born in Pittsburgh like I was, but I was raised here in Boston as a little kid. I don't even remember. That's how young I was. I was still in diapers when I came here. And I only went back to Pittsburgh for 2 weeks, a week to 2 weeks. I think it was 2 weeks every summer. I seen my mother's side of the family with my Aunt Becky, who lived out there and moved back there. And, and then my grandmother would take me for a couple of days on my father's side. Well, I never met my father. He was in Florida and prison for 10 years, and I did prison time too. So it's a weird situation. You know what I mean? Like, I did time for, selling drugs and, violent fucking assault and batteries, armed robberies, all violent crimes as a young kid, 17, 18, 19. But I never hurt women, children. They were all grown men. All right. So I've never hurt anyone weaker than me. You know what I mean? I always hurt or fought guys stronger than me. You know what I mean? Because it's more of a challenge. And it actually was never a challenge, to be honest with you. It was never a challenge. That's the God's honest truth. It was never a challenge. And it never will be, because even with a head injury, I want to go fight in the UFC right now. I want to go 14-0 as a heavyweight. They can't deal with my speed. Go on InTheGranite617. Go check out all my motivational videos. I got a lot of training videos on there, all just boxing training, a little bit of martial arts training. It's all the same. Basically, it's all the same, except martial arts training, MMA training, you have to learn takedown defense, wrestling, which I already know all that stuff because I fought in the streets so many times. And I learned wrestling from really good wrestlers when I was young, so I know how to grapple very good. So I don't need to learn that stuff, but you have to learn, and I'm really going with my hands even more so than I'm better with my hands than wrestling, but you have to learn your hands, wrestling. You have to learn jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and you have to learn how to train really hard. I mean, there's 4 different aspects of mixed martial arts. You got to learn them all. Never give up out there, people, all right? Never give up. You don't see me giving up. Yeah, that injury is real. I'm sure this ain't Photoshop. StreamYard would admit that. I don't edit none of this. Everything's brutally honest here. I told you I was building a network of helping people, and um, like I said, I've been there, done that, and some since my first 25, 30 years of my life. I was comfortable in chaos, and I'll never, ever live that life again. And I haven't for the past 25 plus years. We got, I had a problem in the union with my ex boss and my dear friend who's gone way too young. He's Golden Gloves champ, pro, 10-2 as a pro, junior Olympic Golden Glove champ, both heavyweight, Golden Glove heavyweight champion and junior Olympic champion. He was my co-defendant with our business manager, and he died a week before our pretrial, and I had to take it on the chin, no problem. I had no problem doing it. Because God bless Stephen P. Sigliano. I love you, buddy. I love your father, Eddie. I love your mother, Alda. I love your brother, Bruce. I love your Bruce's kid, Bruce. I love Kim, their sister. I love all the Siglianos. Eddie Sigliano taught me more about boxing than any trainer I ever had. And I had good trainers after that, too. Jimmy Farrell Sr., great trainers. And other trainers in Dorchester and other places. You know what I mean? So I always had good trainers. But the first trainer was Bob W. Wojo. I don't want to say his last name because I actually haven't talked to him in a while. But he was my first trainer in boxing. He taught me a lot, the basics and the fundamentals. And he taught me very well where I understood it very well. And that's why I excelled in amateur boxing when I trained, sparring with pros, Golden Glove champs, all that stuff. Very good ones. The trainers down there knew I could hang with them. You know what I mean? And I used to go to Petronelli's once. I went to Petronelli's a few times. Spar with Robbie Sims down there. This is in the early '90s. I don't even know if he remembers, but I was with Eddie Sigliano, and that's where it would bring me like once a month on Fridays. And I'd spar with a couple guys down there, 3 rounds. One guy for 3 rounds, or 3 different guys for 1 round apiece. And that's I was really thinking about going pro as a pro boxer because I was getting in so much trouble, getting in so many street fights and bar fights and just overall wars in the streets and private clubs and just everywhere, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's just the way it is when you grow up with a bunch of tough people and you're a tough crowd, and there's always going to be tension with this booze and drugs, and a lot of people, people have egos. A lot of people get good courage, and it's just real life. So I really can't wait to help people with head trauma survivors that have head trauma, really bad head trauma, or football players, boxers, because I understand the boxing thing. I've seen friends of mine have the speech slurring because of hard sparring and hard fights in the ring. I never took a lot of damage. I gave out a lot of damage, but I never took a lot of damage, and that's why my head injury, obviously, I would like my talking to be a lot better, but I work on it every day, a little bit every day. And, obviously I made 2 worldwide rap albums after. I never messed up on stage, live, doing shows. I never messed up in the studio. My brain is totally working fine. I just have an injury there from a 14-foot vertical fall on my head. And I needed to go on disability 10 years in after, I got another 10 years out of the union. I didn't want to go on disability, but my doctors felt like that would be the best thing for me and my family. So that's what I did. Sometimes I wonder if I should have, signed on the dotted line and took the disability, but I think it was the right thing to do. I really don't want to worry about my wife with the kids, with the bills because I worked hard enough in my life where, I get enough to take care of all that. She works hard for the city that we live in, and for 20 plus years, and we're doing, we're just a middle class family. That's it. Not rich, not poor, but struggling like I guess everyone else. It's just the way it is since this pandemic. It's brought us all a lot closer, and I'm very grateful. But yeah, it is what it is. Times always get better. It's just because of Christmas. Money's tight. It's the way it is for everybody. All right, people. I gotta leave. This was just supposed to be. What's up, Zach? How you doing, my friend? How you doing, kiddo? I don't have to respond to you like what's it called? I don't have to respond to you on the comments. There's no reason for me to because you hear what I'm saying to you. I just had my father on. Go back and watch it on. He fell in 82, 37 feet on a construction site, banged his head up 2, 3 I-beams, and then landed on his head. He fractured his skull in 82. I fell 14 feet in 2003. I'm pretty sure you remember this, Zach. I fell 14 feet on my head, grabbed the rail and it gave. I fell and fractured my skull. What are the odds of that? I didn't meet him till I was 32 years old. So, Zach, yeah, it's very rare you can find a father and a son that didn't meet each other till I was 32 and he was 70, I think, or 62 or something like that. I forget. He's 21 years older than me or something like that. I don't know. I think my mother's 20 years older than me. I forget. It's something around there. But yeah, he was on. He's going to run all this. We're going to do head injury survivors a couple times or maybe even 7 days a week on another podcast. You know what I mean? But I might keep it on here once or twice a week just for motivational for anyone that has head injuries. You know what I mean? That was my father, yeah. I didn't meet him till 32 years old when I was 32 years old. He almost met a left hook. That's how I wanted him to meet me. But my uncle was there at the train station, and he broke the ice. There's only 2 people that walk like this in the world. That's you and your father. And I looked at him. It was a splitting image of me. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he's from Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? My whole family's from Pittsburgh. My aunt sent for me and my mother when I was in diapers. I don't even remember. That's how young I was, Zach. So, that was my dad, brother. Yep. I'm going on. This was just a pilot for the head trauma survivors thing. Zach, if you know anyone out there who has head trauma from football, boxing, whoever had a fall like me and my father and fractured their skulls, any type of head injuries. No one understands those head injuries except people that go through them. So I always want to give back. I always want to help. That's why I'm setting up this whole network of all different types of podcasts and even comedy. You see me doing the motivational videos training. I'm going to be back in the gym again this week, and I'm going to document certain training methods to get people stronger and bigger and all that stuff. I'm going to teach a lot of people a lot of things that they probably don't know. And I'm going to prove it to people. You don't need roids to get big and strong. That's just the easy way. All right. Zach, good to see you. Thanks for coming on, brother. I'll be on tomorrow morning sometime, and I'll be on again. I got a couple really good guests coming on this week. I'm going full time, so every day there'll be content up, and I will be live every day too. I'm going to start doing a couple fights a week, boxing matches, and some MMA. And I'm going to do this professionally and full time. Zach, glad you came on, brother. You did good last week, kiddo. I wanted to tell you did good last week. You weren't being a wise ass. You were a little bit in the beginning, but I shut you down right off the bat. We had that talk. Remember, don't troll me. You seen all the trolls in there. Why weren't you fucking trolling them? There was fucking 3,000 of them. Start trolling those cocksuckers. Say you're sorry to Glenn. Don't say it a million times. You guys will be friends again. I guarantee it. All right? Listen to your boy. Quadruple OG. You know that kid. All right? I won't want you to coach me to a flyweight chair. Listen, I can coach you into the biggest savage in the world, kid. You have to put in the sacrifice and discipline. If I'm gonna, put away special time to train you, well, you're really gonna have to live up to your end of the bargain and show up virtually every freaking time. And then eventually we'll be able to get together in person, and I'll bring you to the right gyms where I'll show you, and you'll be able to spar, and you'll be able to sharpen your skills before you have your first amateur fight. I'll train you to a freaking championship. And I got other trainers that can help you with other methods. I got a New England champ who's a mentor of mine who'll do anything for me that'll teach you wrestling. I got other friends of mine that'll teach you wrestling that taught me when I was younger. But this New England champ didn't teach me. He was the only one that ever beat me. That's when I was 17, 18. I'm 50 now. That's a whole different story now. I don't think he can beat me now. But he's the heavyweight Khabib, and that's one of your favorite fighters, Zach. You'll like him a lot. Yes, I would train you. I would coach you. My time is valuable, Zach. I'll give you a really good deal, better deal than I give a lot of people. I tell everyone on the Discord, read my comments. I like that kid. That kid will make it through this. He'll stop, the bullshit and the shenanigans, and he'll be part of the solidarity. You already have the solidarity in there. Trolling your friends on there, you can't do that, kid. All right, brother? Just listen to your boy, all right? I don't steer you wrong, kid. All right? I got faith in you. And listen, you can fight. You can fight. Let's see what you can do. You got to really make a commitment. Sacrifice. Sacrifice. Sacrifice and discipline, kid. It's all for a greater cause. You have to put in that hard work every day. We can do it 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off. We can do it 5 days a week. We can do it 6 days a week and 1 day off, 5 days a week and 2 days off. Or we can do it 3 days a week, 3 days in a row, 1 day off, 2 days in a row, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off. We'll figure it out. We got to talk on the phone. That's how. Call me, send your phone number to my, put your phone number up on here or leave it in the comments, and I'll call you, Zach. All right? I don't answer no calls that ain't contacts. So I'm just letting you know, until I got your number and I can put you down as a contact is the only time I can answer your phone. That's why I give my email address. People get to me on my email address, and that's how I get back to them. So anyone that I train, that's how they get at me, and that's how I get at them. I do a lot of virtual training sessions, and they're living great now. They're very happy with their lives, and I do group training too. You know what I mean? So people that don't like to go to the gyms and feel intimidated, whatever the case may be, or they just want a single trainer, that could really help them. Fight training, weight training, calisthenic training, all of it. I'm almost an expert in every single one of them. I would say I'm an expert. I'm not being conceited. I'm not blowing smoke up my ass. I've done all that training for years on end, and I haven't stopped. And I think I let myself go a couple of years of my life, very, very rarely. Zach, peace, kiddo. Get at me. Leave your number in the comments or on my email, right? At Nizzo17, Nizzo17 at gmail.com. All right. And that's how you get in touch with me. If you want to leave your number on the email, and I'll call you right away and we'll talk about what you want to accomplish, and I can tell you what you're gonna have to do. And I'll be with you the whole way. All right, kiddo? Get back at me. I gotta end this live feed because this is only supposed to be a pilot for my father to talk about brain injury survivors. And get at me, Zach. I can call you back in a little bit. All right, kiddo? All right, I got to end the broadcast. Peace, Zach. Have a good night, my friend. Dad, I'll get at you in a couple minutes. Thanks for jumping on, Zach. Share this shit with your friends down there in Florida and tell them to go on InTheGranite617. Check out all the motivational videos, all the music mixes. I've seen all these bands in the 80s and the early 90s, and even bands in the 2000s I've seen. I've been to so many shows. I've done my own shows on my 2 albums. I did like 20, 30 shows. So I know a lot about music, fighting, life in general. And I've survived a lot of shit in my life. Zach, Zach, share my shit, pal, and give me a call. Leave your number on my email or on the comments. I'll get at you and I can delete your number off the comments. All right. Talk to you soon, kiddo.